Welcome to Answers Unleashed, a talk show to help you reshape your brain with science and faith to find the answers in front of you. I am your host, Olympia LePoint. Now, if you have been following the news the last couple of days, you've been seeing such terrible things happening. Just to give you a recent update, this is the beginning of October 2017, and in Las Vegas, Nevada, we had a horrible, I will just straightly say, a terrorist attack. It was a horrible attack where a gunman went and shot many people, killed many people who were attending a concert. And he was on one of the highest roofs of the hotel that was there, and he shot into the crowd and killed many, many people who were simply going to listen to music. And it has just completely ravaged the sanity of not only the people who attended the concert and went to Las Vegas during that time frame, it has ravaged the sanity of every single person who has been witnessing everything in the United States for the last couple of months, everything that we have been seeing on TV, from the hurricanes to the earthquakes, and then to have some sort of terrorist event activity here in Las Vegas where everyone almost goes. That was too rough, too hard. And we've been seeing all sorts of things on Facebook with people posting about the injured and people being angered about gun control, people being angered about the mental stability of the man that did this. And there's so many fingers being pointed each and every single way. The question is, how do you in this situation learn to control your own sanity, keep your own sanity, and not be so moved or shaken by every single thing that is happening, not only in the United States, but across the world? How do you handle it? Well, today's show deals with moving past fear for your purpose. Moving past fear for your purpose. You know me. I'm a person who has gone through so many different life challenges. And if you have been following this entire radio episode for the last 4 seasons, you know about so many things in which I've gone through to overcome fear and anxiety in my own life, to do great things, to launch rockets, to do TED Talks, to write books, to start businesses. And so many times there are things that happen in our life that are just so hard for us to even fathom that they have happened. It can cripple us to an ability where we stop moving forward. And this brings up a wonderful quote. And it's by George Adair. He said, "Everything you've ever wanted is sitting on the other side of fear." Everything you have ever wanted is sitting on the other side of fear. Now, when you see horrible events on the TV, when you see horrible events, people posting things on Facebook and on Twitter and different social media on Instagram, when you see the anger coming from people from both sides, whether or not it's someone who's won a political candidacy or someone who is lost, or if it is a terrorist attack or if it isn't, if it is a natural disaster or it isn't, you have tools. You have tools for what you allow to accept in your consciousness versus what you choose not to. In my new book, Answers Unleashed, the subtitle is The Science of Unleashing Your Brain's Power. And in unleashing your brain's power, you go through many different situations where you are forced to make sense of chaotic situations that you cannot even explain. You don't know why somebody in his or her right mind would go ahead and try and kill innocent people. Some things you cannot even fathom. You have no idea why some political leaders would try and cause havoc and exile people from a country simply because of their religious beliefs. You have no idea how to even fathom some things that happen in life that is this the complete opposite of good. You have no clue. But what you do have the ability is 3 steps. 3 steps in order to regain the way that you can operate in this world so you can move forward. You see, every single time there is a chaotic event that happens on this planet, either someone caused it or it was bound to happen. Bound to happen like the hurricanes that we've seen across the world. It's bound to happen if there's ice glaciers melting in Antarctic and causing more water to heat up in our entire world. That's bound to happen. You have no clue why certain people will want to go through and harm innocent people. But I tell you, it's going to happen. It will happen again. How do you deal with this? And so the first tip in getting up and rising up is recognizing that you can pray for the benefit of the situation. That's the first step. You can pray for the benefit of the situation. It doesn't matter your religious background. It doesn't even matter if you're Jewish, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim. It doesn't matter your background. What matters is that you know that there is a higher force at play where the things that are horrible that has just happened, you can pray that every single thing that was meant for bad will be turned around and changed for good. It'd be turned around and changed for good. Every one of us has this ability. It's a part of what I call the tria brain. It's the 3-sided brain that we have in our head that allows us to change situations. Now, if some of you are not quite sure if God exists, let me just tell you that God does exist. And he's in every single bit of mathematics. He's in every single bit of science. He's in every single bit of your life. But you may not be recognizing the power that you have and you have to work with, that you have been given. The power that you have been given is the ability to pray for certain situations. Specifically, you could pray that everyone who needs physical assistance during these type of natural disasters or terrorist events gains that ability. They will gain help one way or another. And it's not up for you to figure out how that's going to work. You see, you have no control over things that happen outside of your life. You have no control of anything other than your thoughts, your feelings, and the actions that you take in certain situations. Everything else is out of your control. But the beautiful part about it is that when you take ownership over your thoughts, take ownership over your feelings, and take ownership over your actions, you then change the world. See, when you recognize that you do not have control over certain people, you do not have control over whether or not events will happen, but you do have control over sending up a thought that will allow a holy power to change an environment on your request. That is where you recognize that you have power and control and trust in God. Now, you always see this all on social media about people always saying, oh, pray for Paris, pray for Las Vegas, pray for London, pray for all the places in which people are needing dire help after catastrophe. And there's so many people that say, oh, what does prayer do? What does prayer do? And the truth is, prayer without works is useless. You can pray for something all you want, but if you don't take action based on what it is that you are praying for, what you are thinking beneficially for, what you are focusing on, it's not going to happen. Have you ever thought about that? You see, you have been given a life. You have been given a life so powerful that you have certain things that you must accomplish in your own life and carry it out. And that's the pact, that's the agreement, that's commitment that you have made about being alive. The reason why you are alive is because you have great things in store that you have to move forward and accomplish so you can leave your mark here on this earth. And that brings us to our second point. You must still move forward on your mission no matter what is happening in your life. You must move forward on your mission no matter what is happening in your life. I teach mathematics, and if you know anything about mathematics, you know that's a subject that everyone dreads. I'm a mathematics professor here at the Pierce College campus, and I teach, fortunately, at the Pasadena City College, and I give lectures all across the different universities across the world in mathematics and about neuroscience. And specifically mathematics, do you know the reason why people fear mathematics most? People fear mathematics is because they have a fear that they cannot move past, and as a result, they hold on to their fear, they grasp onto it so much and they don't let it go that they do not let go of their fear and they are crippled by it. So much so that over 60% of people who take mathematics drop it because it overwhelms them. I was surprised to find out that in my classes, there's less than 3% of the people that drop every single semester. They stay. And the reason why they stay is for this one simple reason. They realize that as they overcome the fear of mathematics and as they overcome fears, they move forward in their life to accomplish their goal. You see, you cannot accomplish something by holding on to fear. You cannot move forward to get your degree if you fail a mathematics class. You do not move forward in changing this world if you sit there and watch the social media and watch these things that cripple you and you accept that in your life. You see, you move forward when you decide that no matter what is happening in your life, no matter what type of breakup has just happened, no matter what type of financial situations that you face, no matter what type of injury you've encountered, you still move forward no matter what, and you will find a way. When you move forward, no matter what obstacles are in your path, that's where you gain and you harness the chaos from the situation. You transform it in a way that will change your life and change everyone else's life who watch you. You must move forward on your mission. Now, I'm more than likely talking to college students and professionals who have faced so many different challenges. If you're a college student, you're more than likely in courses and you don't know exactly how this is going to pan out. You're in classes and thinking, what am I going to do after this? If you're at a junior college, you have no idea what school you're going to go to next. If you're in a college university, you have no clue what is going to be your major or how you're going to find work in that job. But that's okay. You must set a goal for yourself. You may not know how it will all play out. You may not know what everything will encounter or how it will be all placed together for you to move forward, but you have to have a goal for yourself. Have you set a goal for yourself for the next 6 months? Let's just start there. What's your goal in the next 6 months? If you're a college student, is it to pass a class? Is it to get a mentor? Is it to get a scholarship? Is it to get a job that will be able to support you to be able to move forward in your career? You have to establish something to look forward to in your own life, so no matter what type of situations are happening around you, you still have your eye on your target. So no matter what, you're going to still reach it. I have encountered so many different things, and in my book, Answers Unleashed, my new book that's out, I think it's chapter 10? No, it's chapter 9. Chapter 9, I talk about building the faith brain, and building... No, I take that back. It's about building the left brain. And the left brain is about finding the resources in order to get things done and using the situations and looking at it logically. And in order for us to move forward, we actually have to have something that we look forward to. If we don't have something to look forward to, and if we are just there, which it's okay to be just there, but if we are not looking forward to something in which we can contribute to this world and build physically in this world, our days kind of seem like they run in with each other. If you can think of yourself if you can think of yourself having 1 week left to live, and you can talk to anybody on the face of the planet, and let's say that you can talk to your family after you go. Let's just say you have full communication with them, so you could talk to everyone else and tell them a certain specific message before you leave this planet. And you could talk to anyone, any group, anytime. The question is, what would you say and what would you give them? What would you say and what would you give them? Is it a way to express yourself? Is it a way to trust? What is it? What type of wisdom would you give? And whatever answer it is that you have made for your own specific life to that, whatever it is, that falls in line with your life purpose. You see, whatever it is that you're going to do in life, your actions will support it. And in this chapter that I talk about my own experiences, when I was writing my book, I came across so many different challenges. I remember 1 week, my electricity, one specific day, my electricity went out. And I was planning on working with my editor, and I had no electricity, no computer power. It was in the middle of the night. I do not like the darkness, especially sleeping in the darkness. That is just freaky. To me, that's just too overwhelming. And I had no cell phone, and I found the nearby police station. I walked over to them, and I knocked on the door, and I asked them to use their generator. So they had their lights on because they had a generator going, and I asked to be able to use their plug so I could plug up my cell phone to charge it because all my chargers were dead, nothing worked. And I remember sitting in the police station until 4 a.m. in the morning charging my cell phone. And it was the most uncomfortable thing because I remember sitting in this chair, dozing off to sleep, neck all crooked, all trying to charge my cell phone so I at least have some sort of emergency backup. And I'm just so thankful the police officers let me in and allowed me to charge my phone. But that morning, I was supposed to work with my editor at 7 a.m. in the morning, and I ended up getting 3 hours of sleep. But I knew that I had an opportunity in front of me. I had to get this book done. No matter what type of challenges were in my way, I had to find a way to make time to get what I really, truly desired accomplished. And in this case, the entire lights went out. And they were out for not just a couple of hours, they were out for 12 hours. Everything I had in my refrigerator was completely lost. There was nothing left for me to even eat. But I knew I had to get that book done. When you have a driving force with something in which you're going to finish, the great news is that allows you to move forward on a path that no matter what's happening in front of you, you still move forward. You still move forward with no matter what obstacles come in your way. Now, don't get me wrong. Your life may be very, very tough if these obstacles come, but you still have the ability to transform your life by still choosing to move forward. The third step is this. No matter what type of chaotic events that happen, you must realize that you are still in a place to help others who are in dire need. No matter what situations happen in life, you are always in a position to help someone else who is in dire need. You always have something. If you're alive and walking, you have something. If you are even alive in a hospital bed, you have something. You still have a life. You see, so many times we get caught up thinking, what on earth can we do? There's been a hurricane. What can we do? There's been a natural disaster. What can we do? There's been a shooting. What can we do? And what comes to my brain is what I heard on the news yesterday, is that the people in Las Vegas, right after the shooting, there were several different people shot in Las Vegas. And there was the generosity of mankind, the people in the area. What they did is they came over to the hospitals and they donated blood. They realized that they could not help the situation any more powerfully than choosing to donate blood. Now, would you have thought about that in this situation? Like when you have money, you have the ability to give money to someone. If you have clothes, you have the ability to give clothes to people who have been in fires and in natural catastrophes. But would you have thought about giving your blood? See, the hospitals were in such need for people to receive blood and transfusions that people came from cities, all in Las Vegas and Nevada, just to that area to donate their blood so they could help people who were in dire need. No matter what, when you see situations that are happening in the media, from natural disasters to terrorist attacks, you always have the ability to help, not only through your thoughts, not only by choosing to stay on course yourself, but realizing what tangible can you do. When there was the hurricane that affected Houston, I thought to myself, what on earth can I do? Everyone's in Houston, everyone's losing their homes. And I didn't necessarily have the financial resources to help every single person that was out there. And I thought, what can I do? And then I looked online and I found out that there were people renting large big rigs, collecting donations from people. And the donations were clothes and blankets. And they were collecting these clothes and blankets and driving on the road all the way to Houston, delivering it to shelters. When I heard this, the lights went off in my head. Ding, 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 ding. I thought, if I cannot physically help, physically being there, and if I can't give the type of money in which I would desire, I can go through and give the clothes that I have that are really great to people who have just lost everything. And so I found myself going through my closet, picking out this might sound odd, but I found myself picking out beaded gowns and things that are very, very nice that I just didn't use anymore. And I found blankets that were very nice that I never used. I found towels. I found things in which I didn't need anymore, but someone else could use. And I went to one of these locations, and it was one here in Woodland Hills, and I found a suitcase in which I didn't have any use for anymore. And I went to this location and I dropped off clothes, shoes, blankets, and suitcases for someone in Houston who would benefit from that. I don't know who it was, and I'll probably never know. Probably on my deathbed or as I'm in heaven, let's say, I'll be able to go, oh, yes, it was Susie K that had my suitcase. But in any case, it will be your thrill and your gift to know that you've helped out in some way, shape, or form in a dire situation. Now, you will never, ever, ever, ever be able to understand why people do certain things. You'll never understand why certain events happen in natural catastrophes. You won't ever fully, really ever understand the reasons why certain political people do certain things. You just won't ever know. But if you take these 3 steps and you move with them, you can do anything to overcome situations that happen poorly. Now, as you know, Answers Unleashed here talk show is a talk show that is airing live, and we've changed to Tuesdays at 2. And I now am pulling up a Facebook post about some questions that people are having about this particular show. And one question comes from John K. in London. All right. John K. in London says, with all the terrible things that are happening across the world, what do you specifically suggest we do in order to stay on path and be humanitarian in nature? All right. Thank you so much for your question out there, and thank you so much for listening from London. It has been such a crazy time period. We've been seeing all sorts of things happen on the news. We've been seeing all sorts of crazy things that's been happening. If you take these 3 steps in which I have recommended, which is getting up and recognizing that you can pray for a situation and lifting up your great thoughts, you can still move forward on your mission, no matter what that is. And third, you can still help out people in dire need. By recognizing that no matter what's happening on this planet, you still have something to fulfill and give to the world. That's actually how you stay focused. Your target remains the same. When you are targeted in knowing that no matter what type of things will transpire in your life, you still have the ability to contribute to the world. That's what gives you power. When you recognize what it is that you can do, is it by posting positive things? Is it by posting information to different shelters? If it is letting people know what type of dire need certain situations people are in, whatever it is that you can do to help out a situation, that is actually the most beneficial in this case. And that gives you power in knowing that you're doing everything that you can do in the situation, and you can move forward on your particular mission. So that's what I recommend. This next question comes from Emily, and Emily is in Spain. She's saying that she is a student from the United States who is taking classes in Spain right now. Thank you for listening to us from Spain. It is fascinating. She's asking, how do I know what my life purpose is? How do I know what my life purpose is? That's a great question. A lot of people have that particular question. When we have different situations that arise and you don't know what to do and you don't know what your life purpose is, one of the best recommendations I suggest is actually, this may sound odd, going to sleep on it. Asking that question before you go to sleep. And if you're a spiritual person, just ask the universe or ask your higher power or God. I like to consider everything in control being a force called God. And just ask, what is my life purpose? And go to sleep. I know that sounds strange, but typically when we sleep, our brain transmits information to our conscious mind. It transfers information from our subconscious to our conscious mind, and typically we, within the first 3 seconds of waking up, have the answer, but it's only if you remember it. And in my book, Answers Unleashed, I talk about tips for you to be able to decode your dreams and remember them. If you keep a notepad right next to you at the side of your bed when you wake up, jot down whatever comes to you, no matter how insignificant it is or how major it is. Write it down. Typically, if you ask a question before you go to sleep and you wake up, and it may be that day or it may be later on that week, you typically will have the answer. And be specific. What can I do within my life purpose this year? That's one question that you can ask. Or how do I use my life purpose in my education? So do ask the question kind of specifically and go to sleep. I mean, that sounds strange, but your brain and your subconscious can tell you far more than you know. So if you take that particular tip, I guarantee you that you'll more than likely know. Again, it has been so much fun sharing with you these tips here on Answers Unleashed. Again, we're here every Tuesday at 2 for season 4. You can always find us on answersunleashed.com to find out all about our latest shows. And we thank the staff and the crew here at kpcradio.com for always giving us live shows every single week. This is actually a student-run organization, and I am so happy for all their hard work that they do here on the campus. And always, you can ask us questions on 888-88-ANSWERS. Ask us a question. We more than likely will answer it on air. And you can always, no matter what, find me on Facebook.com/Olympia LePoint to get all sorts of tips and to find out all the different videos that we create each week. Until next time, let your brain reshape with your faith and the science you witness. I am Olympia LePoint, your host, here on Answers Unleashed. I'll see you next time.